Everybody's run into it. Why do I self-sabotage? Like, you got it going on, you got inches dropping, you're getting stronger, you're getting nutritionally sound, and then something happens and poof, you let it all go. Let's talk about why. Number one, right out of the gate, we have to get in the filth. And the number one reason we self-sabotage is that we don't feel worthy. Ouch. That's a hard one to think about, right? But it's based on something called cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance just means that our actions have to line up with our values, right? They have to be congruent with what we believe. So if we don't believe that we are worthy of the improvement, if we don't believe that we deserve to get our health in check, if we don't believe that we deserve to no longer have, struggles with food, eventually our actions are going to have to line up with that self-limiting belief. And again, this is a tough one, but number one, overall, without question, is that we have a belief system that makes us think that we aren't worthy of the success. So our brain, that cognitive dissonance, it has to cause us to take some actions that sabotage that. The second reason is control. That's right, control. Because if we can control our own failure, it's a lot easier to deal with than trying our hardest and that failure coming out of the blue and blindsiding us. We don't like the feeling of failing unless we're failing on our own terms. Nobody likes going all out and not succeeding. And because we hate that so much, we will self-sabotage so that we fail on our terms instead of failure coming out of the blue. So we spin out of control on purpose. Number three is very prevalent in my line of work, and it's feeling like a fraud. We call it imposter syndrome, right? You feel like you're just not really qualified to do what you're doing. So as you rise, as you get better and better and better at something, you feel more and more and more like a fraud, like I don't belong here. So we do one of two things. We either do the bare minimum in hoping that we go unnoticed, we're able to get by unnoticed, or the other thing that we do is we self-sabotage because we feel like if we get too high on that pedestal, everybody's going to know that we're a failure. So we have to come back down to a level that matches where we think we belong. Imposter syndrome is a killer in my business, and it's definitely a killer in terms of your own health and wellness journey. Number four is familiarity. That's right. We are accustomed to what it feels like to be in that particular space. Maybe you felt mistreated, overlooked, and undervalued by yourself your whole life. So that feeling is familiar to you. So instead of success, which is better by all intents and purposes, but very, very unusual for you to deal with, you go back to what's familiar to you. You go back to mediocrity because even though it's not a better condition, it feels much more normal. Similar to prisoners who get out of prison and commit a crime for the familiarity of going back there where they're comfortable with the systematic process. Number five, sheer boredom. That's right, you get bored. Even though you're doing great, you're successful, you're winning, it's boring. So you gotta push some buttons, right? You gotta shake things up. You need a little bit of drama. And that need for that little bit of drama will cause you to self-sabotage. It's just more exciting, for lack of a better word. So those are the top 5 reasons why typically we self-sabotage. I'm interested to hear your thoughts about it. Share some thoughts in the comments, guys. Let's keep it simple.